What's good, family? It's your man the YB, back once again. Big shout out to my doggy, non-PC brigade, for coming through and boosting up them political coins, 100%, no doubt. So we got some breaking news right now. Regarding your man's Deontay. Oh man, you know what? Cock-a-doodle-oo, Wilder, aired out and sacked off. These Donnies who be staying in his pockets, Haymon and Shelley. Deontay Wilder has declared that he is now an open agent. Wow. Taking full control of his career. He said, "It's no bad blood. I'm still part of the PBC. I'm just an open agent, an open fighter. I'm tired of Haymon and Mr. Shekel looking ass. Hand staying in my pocket. And I want to fight on all types of platforms. I'm willing to work with anyone." Now, these specific bars, are a bit misleading. Some people have been saying, obviously all the Haymon fangirls, he ain't leaving Haymon. Oh, no, look, he's still working with him. No, you man missed the play here. And I have to salute Wilder. Wilder has grown as an individual. Don't get me wrong, it took him long enough. He played himself out of enough bags. That $120 million in the... Oh man, you know what? $50 million in a bag again. He been played himself out of too many bags. Like I said, that DAZN $120 million. But nonetheless, we got there eventually. And what Wilder's doing now is finally smart. Finally, he's got over himself. Got over his emotions. Let's not forget, people. The number one reason that DAZN offer got turned down wasn't because of some mad thing. It was, oh man, you know what? Eddie Hearns, he called me a hillbilly. Oh man, you know what? He called Shelley Winkle. I don't want that man money. Deontay Wilder turned down. I mean, Wilder's got generational money anyway, but listen, 120 million is different to 10 or 15 million. In fact, it's 10 times different. That's what Wilder played himself out of because of emotions. Wilder could have said, listen, F the emotions. I'm a rational man. Let me take this Eddie Hearns $120 million bag and laugh all the way to the bank. Yeah? If this man thinks I'm a hillbilly, I'll take his hillbilly $120 million and I'll discuss it with my next 10 generations of my family. Yeah, we'll see what my next generations of my family, we'll see what the next 10 generations of my family think I'm a hillbilly when they got 120 million to sit back on. Yeah, or we'll see who Shelley Winkle is when we got 120 million big ones in the bank. Oh no. That's not what he did. And I don't even really hold Wilder fully accountable. Because at the end of the day, Wilder's job is to fight. The people around him, their job is to have a fiduciary duty to him. Their job is to hold him down and say, listen Wilder, you're not thinking rationally now. Who cares? After all, a manager is supposed to manage. A manager isn't supposed to boost you up and encourage your madness. And that's why the Haymon and Shelley Winkle situation is not a good look. They knew what they was doing. What manager advises their client? What manager who cares about their client advises them to turn down a $120 million bag to take a $15 million bag? Oh, and by the way, you end up getting punched up by Pillar Fist anyway. Wilder could have got punched up by AJ for 10 times the amount. And by the way, losing to AJ is a lot better, or at the time at least, is a lot better look than losing to Tyson Fury, Mr. Pillar Fist. Mr. Can't Stop Chisora. Yeah? And what we know now is Wilder actually had a chance of beating AJ. Clearly, he ain't beat Fury. You know what I'm saying? It's one of them ones. But anyway, let's not go too far back in history, yeah? End of the day, Wilder's made the right move right now, punking off Haymon and punking off Shelley Winkle. But I want to go into some more depth about why these cats have been crafty throughout history, or throughout the history of Wilder's career. Yeah? Because like I said, wait a minute, bear in mind, Winkle and Haymon, They're supposed to be the big dog businessmen. Why are big dog businessmen not advising their client to calm down and focus on what matters? What matters is the coins. That's what all businessmen know, that, don't they? So why did Mr. Shelley Winkle and Mr. Al Haymon not tell Wilder, I understand that you're a little bit emotional about being called a hillbilly, but let's get the money, let's get the bag. Because if you remember correctly, this wasn't a case of, well, YB, Wilder, he has control of his career and he made the final say so. No, that's not how it went, people. Shelley Winkle was one of the key guys backing Wilder up, saying, oh, we're not working with Eddie Hearn. No, Eddie Hearn, no, he rude, he this, he that. Shelley Winkle was the one putting coal and putting wood on the flames, fanning the flames. Yeah, Wilder, yeah. Let's not get 120 million. Let's get 5 million instead. Who does that? I'll tell you who does that. Individuals who are playing their dudes. Because guess what? The only person, or the only persons, the only entities it benefited Wilder turning down 120 million for 10 million was who? Again, it wasn't Wilder. It was Shelley Winkle and Al Haymon. Why? Well, Shelley Winkle and Al Haymon ended up getting their asset cheap. Yeah? DAZN were prepared to pay Deontay Wilder for his services 120 million. That's a fact. Now, if Al Haymon and Shelley Winkle cared about Wilder the same way he cared about them, let's not forget, people, at the time, one of the key reasons was, of course it was Eddie Hearn's rude, but the other thing was, oh man, I'm loyal to Al. I'm loyal to Showtime. I'm not going nowhere. Dead zone. I'm not going on an app. And that whole app narrative was fanned by Showtime, fanned by Shelley, fanned by Al Haymon. I'm loyal. I'm not leaving. And listen, Don King, that whole, he's my brother. Don King, Don King ran the biggest here's my brother game. Yeah, giving it the black power fist. Listen, Don King, Mike Tyson's been said this. Don King would talk about black brother and then charge you $9 a month for towels. Do you understand that one? That's the game. And that game has been being run in boxing in particular since time began. Yeah? People or the management gas you up about loyalty and brotherhood. Meanwhile, you're being played out of coins. And meanwhile, loyalty is supposed to work both ways. Yeah? Okay, I sacrifice for you, you sacrifice for me. Wait a minute. What's Al Haymon and Shelley Winkle's sacrifice for Wilder? I can tell you what Wilder sacrificed for them. Wilder sacrificed, this is the facts, there was no strings attached. DAZN in the end offered Wilder $20 million to fight Dominic Breazeale. Absolutely ridiculous amount of money. Where was Shelley Winkle and Al Haymon saying, listen Wilder, we know you don't like Eddie, we know you want to be loyal to us, but end of the day, man, your career's short, you need to do what's best for you. Yes, we'd like to have you on Showtime, but you know what, man, that's a ridiculous amount of money, and DAZN are going to play themselves. That's the conversation which should have been had if Showtime, Al Haymon, and Shelley Winkle cared about Deontay Wilder. Instead, selfishly, to keep Wilder on their platform for cheap, they fanned Wilder's flames. Oh yeah, Wilder, yeah, Eddie Hearn, so rude. Eddie Hearn, yeah, he call you a hillbilly. Oh yeah, he disrespectful. Meanwhile, Wilder, for the same fight, gets paid 1 or 2 million. At best. Gets paid 1 or 2 million when DAZN were offering 20. How does that happen? At the time, Wilder said, like I said, oh, I'm loyal to Shaw. I'm loyal and I'm not. Oh man, I'm a real Nick. I'm a real guy. I hold it down. I hold Al Haymon down. Wait a minute. How's Al Haymon holding you down? I'm sorry, yeah, but if someone offers me 20 and someone offers me 1 or 2, that there tells you all you need to know. And thankfully, Wilder's got there now, but it's a little bit too late, in my opinion. Still, Wilder's got some good years in his career, but come on now. I mean, it's not even so much the 100. Wilder was offered 100 to fight AJ twice. For me, it was the Dominic Breazeale one. Dominic Breazeale, no risk. The same fight. You've been offered 20 versus 2. I can't get my head around that, with no strings attached. DAZN had different offers out. They said, listen, Wilder, we've got a 3-fight deal, Brazil, and 2 AJ fights for 120. Or in the end, they said, listen, we're launching a new platform. We just want you on our platform. Forget the AJ strings. Let's just get you on our platform for the Brazil fight. 20 million. Wilder turned it down, people. Can you believe that? It's unbelievable. And that's why I worry, because I see people like my doggy Joe Joyce. Joe Joyce is being played in a similar fashion. Not to the same extent, but a similar fashion. Yeah, Frank Warren telling Joe, oh Joe, yeah, we family Joe, and oh Joe, I'll get you the Tyson Fury fight, Joe. Ask yourself this. Why has Frank Warren put Joe Joyce in a Zhang fight when Tyson Fury hasn't got a fight booked for April 26th? You think it's a coincidence? You think it's a coincidence? I mean, that Zhang fight came out of nowhere, don't get me wrong. That Joe Joyce versus Zhang is a hardcore fight. Yeah? A boxing hardcore fight, but really, it ain't going nowhere. And after all, Tyson Fury and Frank Warren have been all in the video telling us, oh, yeah, Joe, if it's not Tyson, if it's not Usyk next, it's you. Now, with all due respect, Tyson Fury and Usyk negotiations, they've been going on. Yeah, they've been going on. 3 months down the line. So the question is, why is Frank Warren suddenly pushed through the Zhang fight with Joe Joyce? I tell you why. Because any minute now, Tyson Fury versus Usyk negotiations are about to fall through. At which point, Frank Warren couldn't afford for Joe Joyce not to have a fight booked. Because what happens then? What happens then is, Joe Joyce says, wait a minute, Frank, you said if it's not Usyk, I'm next. You said I'll be fighting Tyson Fury in April anyway, so it's all perfect. Frank Warren knew, damn, I better get Joe Joyce busy. So that when the Usyk fight fails, as we know it's about to, they can then say, oh, there's no one else, we've got to fight Manuel Charr. The same thing happened with the Chisora fight. Oh, AJ played around in September, it's late notice. Joe Joyce, and that's it. They even said that. Oh, Joe Joyce doesn't want it because it's too soon and he's on holiday. It's got to be Chisora. In fact, I remember an interview, I think it was Umar, someone either. Tyson Fury sat there and said, who else is there? And they went through the names and they was all busy. Yeah? After all, Tyson Fury and Frank Warren both said, if it's not Usyk, it's Joe Joyce. So wait a minute. Why has Frank Warren rushed through this Zhang fight? Frank Warren could have been saying to Joe Joyce, listen Joe, you can fight Zhang in May or June. For now, I care about you. For now, I'm putting your thing first. What's the point rushing a Zhang fight through when this Usyk fight's looking a bit iffy? If that falls through, and we know Tyson Fury said he must fight on April 26th, perfect. Yeah, we either fight Zhang in May or June, or Fury versus Joyce, April 26th, boom. Yeah, you peaked that game. Frank Warren couldn't afford for them conversations to be had, so he pushed the Zhang fight through. Now when the Usyk fight flops, oh, and Tyson Fury will be out here, Frank Warren will be out here, oh, yeah, we would have fought Joe, but Joe's busy now. Do you see that one there? Sneaky. And I've been said this about Frank Warren, and that's the thing about Joe. Like, Deontay Wilder seems to have finally got there. But still, look how much money Deontay Wilder had to forgo to get to this position. Played himself out of over $100 million. And Deontay Wilder's still younger than Joe Joyce. That's the sad thing. Joe Joyce don't have this time. But Frank Warren has been played Joe Joyce out of his coins, or out of his position. Wait a minute. Joe Joyce beats Dubois. And it wasn't a close fight where you could say, well, YB, it's 50-50. No, Joyce dominates and makes Daniel Dubois quit. Yet Daniel Dubois, number one, he's the guy with the $2 million, $3 million WBA regular fight versus Trevor Bowman. Why is Frank Warren setting up the guy who lost to have a huge payday? From what I understand, Joe Joyce has never made $2.5 million. Why did Frank Warren put Daniel Dubois in that position to make $2.5 million and get a WBA regular belt, which puts him for the next challenge for Usyk? And number two, why is Frank Warren positioned the loser to be the next mandatory for Usyk? Guess where Usyk is? Sorry, guess where Joe Joyce is? Joe Joyce is the last mandatory for Usyk. He's behind Dubois. He's behind Hrgovic. He's number 3. 3 of 3. That's where Joe Joyce is positioned. And when you do the maths, yeah, if Usyk fights Fury once or twice, if Usyk then fights Dubois, if Usyk then fights Hrgovic, that's 3 or 4 fights down the line. These guys aren't fighting every 6 or 8 months. That's 2 years. Usyk, Joe Joyce, if he's lucky, will be fighting for them belts in 2 or 3 years. On a best case scenario. That's if Usyk fights every 6 months, back to back to back. Do you understand? Facts. Fury, Dubois, Hrgovic, Joyce. That's 2 years, people. And this has been orchestrated over the last 2 years. Meanwhile, what's Joe Joyce been doing? Fighting Christian Hammer. Periods of inactivity. Fighting Carlos Takam. You know what I mean? It's baffling. And the crazy thing is, Joe Joyce himself, he's been the same way Wilder was indoctrinated. The same way Mike Tyson was indoctrinated. Oh, loyalty. Oh, yeah, family. I'm under no illusions. Frank Warren will be telling Joe Joyce, oh, we're family, yeah. Yeah, in fact, Joe Joyce himself was saying it. Oh, Frank Warren told me and Tyson Fury told me I'm next. That's how sad it was. I genuinely felt sad when Joe Joyce said, oh, Tyson Fury said I'm next. I thought, wow, they've actually done a job on this guy. And these guys believe it. They do. The same way Wilder believed Finkel and Al Haymon cared about him. But loyalty's supposed to work both ways. Okay. Okay, Showtime. Okay, Al Haymon. Okay, Finkel. I've played myself out of a $120 million bag with DAZN. What have you done for me? Oh, you got me punched up by Tyson Fury for peanuts, relatively. What's Wilder got to show for it? Wilder's got 10 times less coins to show for it. That's what he got for his loyalty. Nothing. And I'm hearing now Shelley Winkle's out here scrambling. Really stressed out because he's lost his... Cause let's not forget. Tell me another fighter Shelley Winkle manages. None. He don't manage no fighters. This was his cash cow he was milking. That's why Shelley Winkle don't come out and say, yeah, Wilder, you should go and start a relationship with Eddie Hearn. You should start doing your own thing. No, that's not good for Winkle. Winkle protected his own interest. Meanwhile, he tells you about family and loyalty and this, that, the other. No, these guys at the top of the game, they understand one thing, coins. And that is, got to be honest, that is where I respect Eddie Hearn. Yeah, it's quite ironic, really. It was Finkel and PBC who were spinning the narrative to Deontay Wilder, gassing Deontay Wilder up about, oh yeah, Eddie Hearn, he a SLAVE master. Oh yeah, you don't want to work with him. But guess what about Eddie Hearn? Eddie Hearn, to his respect, as far as I'm aware, Eddie Hearn always allows his fighters to do what's in their best interest. I've never heard of a situation, yeah, where a fighter has a big opportunity and Eddie Hearn holds them back. Now, you could say Lawrence Okolie, but with all due respect, Eddie Hearn had pumped so... Eddie Hearn's lost money on Okolie. That's not the same thing. Look at other people. If you treat Eddie Hearn fairly, he treat you fairly. I've never seen Eddie Hearn say, oh no, it's our different platform. Look at Devin Haney. Devin Haney had to go and get the belts on another place. Eddie Hearn said, no problem, go get the belts. You know what I'm saying? Out of everyone, and no one's perfect, but out of everyone, I've never heard of a big case of Eddie Hearn trying to step in the way of people's getting their bread. If anything, he puts people on. People like Rocky Fielding, getting the Canelo payday, and you know what I'm saying? All these different ones. And that Okolie situation, like I said, Eddie Hearn has lost so much on Okolie. Okolie owes, in my opinion, Okolie owes it to Eddie Hearn to try and bring some coins back. After all them shows he's put on and lost money. Yeah? End of the day, it is a business. But anyway, the fact of the matter is, like I said, what have Al Haymon and anyone else done for Wilder? So I'm glad eventually he got there. It's a shame it took him this long. But the sad thing is, even Dominic Brazil, he was indoctrinated and told, oh yeah, family, oh yeah, loyalty. Because how it works is, you have a purse bid. Either one of them men, Brazil or Wilder, could have objected and said, no, I don't agree to these terms. At which point, it would have been an open offer, it would have been a purse bid, and DAZN would have come in and paid you 20 million. That was the offer. The offer was 20 million to Wilder and 5 million to Brazil. But because Brazil and Wilder were indoctrinated, oh, we're loyal to Showtime, we're loyal to Al, they played themselves out of 10 times more money. Brazil ended up making 500 grand. That's a fact. It was only Adrian Brody the other day who was saying, oh, Al Haymon, where's my money? You know what I mean? So you just don't know what's being told here. From what I understand, Al Haymon be telling fighters, oh yeah, we've got this retirement thing set up for you. Oh yeah, don't worry about that, it's on the back end. Do you know what I mean? All these terms have been proliferated by Al Haymon. Oh, the back end. Oh yeah, I mean, and from what I understand, there's no telling if that money even exists. So I've been hearing that how it works is with Al Haymon, and we have heard murmurs of this. How it works with Al Haymon is, when Eddie Hearn's offering you 20 million, and he's only offering you 1 million, how he spins it is, oh yeah, that 20 million, don't worry about that. We'll give you 1 million, and then we'll put another 10 in this retirement thing, and in 10 years you'll have it sitting there. One of them ones. There ain't no money there. Big capping. And that's why you see these fighters strutting around the place, talking about, oh, the back end, and I've got, I mean, you see people strutting around the place, gassing up Al Haymon. Oh yeah, the back end. Oh yeah, after my career, because of Al, I'm sorted out. But guess what? Al Haymon doesn't have a 30-year record of fighters from 20 years ago who are now reaping the benefits of all these retirement funds and back end rubbish. Do you understand that? For all we know, this is a massive Ponzi scheme, and it's going to come out, there's nothing left. And with all due respect, categorically, there are people suing Al Haymon now for money lost. He took something like 600 million and blew it all gone. Yeah? Do you know what I'm saying? So is that a guy who blew up $1 billion bag? Is that a guy you really want to trust with your retirement and back end monies? I don't know, I'm just speculating. What I can say is, I'm glad Wilder has finally come to his senses. That's how it should be. It should be, everyone's career should be on a case-by-case basis. Yeah? Otherwise, you're playing yourself. F loyalty. If people are loyal to you, they'll understand what you're doing. Yeah? True loyalty works both ways, i.e., wait a minute, if someone's loyal to me, they want the best for me. If Team Wilder was loyal to him, they'd have said, listen, Wilder, Showtime, that Brazil fight wasn't even on pay-per-view, I don't believe. And if it was, the numbers bombed. But either way, like I said, if they really cared about Wilder, they'd have said, listen, Wilder, we're only offering you 1 million to fight Brazil. Go and take that ridiculous amount of DAZN money. We're robbing the bank. Who cares about Hillbilly? Who cares about anything else? I'll be the Hillbilly with 120 M's in my bank. Oops. That's what they should have been saying. Not, oh yeah, Wilder. Yeah, don't go with them, Wilder. They call you Hillbilly, Wilder. Yeah, let's stay here with us, and you can fight on free TV and make 10% of that amount. That's the play, people. I hate to say it. That's actually what happened. They gassed Wilder up, got in his head, played on his emotions. And them said emotions cost Wilder over $100 million. And it's now, after he's lost his belt, after he's been washed by Pillar Fist, it's finally come around. But it's better late than never. And that's why I tell Joe Joyce, man, listen, Joe, don't listen to what people say, listen to what people do. Wilder's career is really a great example of this. People was gassing Wilder up, yeah, Wilder, don't take 100 million, this fight's worth 400 million. Meanwhile, wait a minute, You've told me, you've advised me not to take 100 because this fight's worth 400. Wilder should have said at that point, okay, if you're telling me not to take this 100 because it's worth 400, where's the contract for this 400? Oops, innit? Don't gas me up telling me DAZN's the devil and don't trust DAZN when they've got 100 on the table. Don't talk about what it could be if you ain't got your pen and paper out. Ooh, innit? That's the big oops. That's a big oopsie for me. Yeah? Categorically, Shelley Finkel and PBC were out here saying Eddie Hearn's lowballing, Eddie Hearn playing with it. This is a $400 million fight like Mayweather Pacquiao. If that's the case, just put it up. Get the money out, simple as that. But guess what? The money never came, did it? The 100 million was there. Instead, Wilder, like I said, ended up getting his wig pushed back for pennies on the dollar. Big facts. Even if you think Wilder made 20 million versus Fury, collectively, it's still a fraction of the 120 that was offered. Not to mention the fact that Wilder could have even beat AJ and become undisputed. You know what I'm saying? Anyway, Wilder's done what he's done now. And I want to pick up on this. People say, oh, why, but he hasn't left them. But Wilder's finally doing what he's supposed to do. Wilder here is politicking. Yeah? Wilder could have come out. And that's why I respect Wilder, because he has grown. In the past, look at how he's acted with Mark Breland. Look how he acted with the $100 million DAZN deal. Very emotional. Coming out, running his mouth. But he's finally clocked. The best way to maximise is to be neutral. Yeah? Wilder could come out and air out Finkel, air out Al Haymon. These guys are muppets, they've played me, etc, etc. That ain't going to help no one. Wilder understands, listen, there's no point in exposing Showtime. My best position is to play everyone off against each other. Yeah? You get the best price if Showtime, DAZN and ESPN are competing for your services.